I believe the animal rights organizations targeted the Tiger truck stop and myself because we're highly visible. We're located right on Interstate 10. And it is pretty much the name of the game, for these organizations to solicit donations and for them to be able to say that they rescued a tiger from a truck stop, paint a false picture that this tiger is being abused, that he's not being well taken care of, and ask for more donations, it brings in a lot of money for them. And I think for it being a highly visible situation, that benefits them, and that's why they targeted me. I think that there is corruption in the system. To what extent, I don't know that. But in the case between the Animal Legal Defense Fund and the State of Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, I would take this example. When the State of Louisiana lost the lawsuit in district court, the state failed to appeal the judge's decision. I had to appeal as an intervener in that case, trying to protect my property, specifically the permit to keep Tony the truck stop tiger. That raises a question with me as to, here is the state defending itself in court against a group, an animal rights organization from Torquay, California, suing them, telling the district judge that they have no right to interpret their own rules and regulations. And the state is just going to concede to that. I think that points to a real problem that they did not appeal that case. And now that we've gone on with our appeal as interveners, and of course they've had to come along, the appeals court is wondering, why should we listen to what the state has to say? Why should we listen to what the state has to say when they didn't even bother to appeal the district court's decision? I question the honesty of that. I question whether there's some corruption. I question why the state didn't appeal when they lost in district court. There definitely seems to be some kind of political influence going on here. And I think the fact that the State Wildlife and Fisheries failed to appeal the district court's decision points to some kind of political corruption, and is evidence that that there's some kind of influence going on here that should not be going on in the judicial system. I think a red state, a conservative state. I think a conservative state like Louisiana should be about free enterprise. Create an atmosphere for small business to flourish. And in my situation, and having a truck stop operation for 25 years, and being a unique operation at that, and having a live tiger exhibit where we've exhibited many tigers over the years, over the past 25 years. that the state shouldn't be taking actions to put down or put out of business an operation like this. I believe in a conservative state like Louisiana that, our governor and the legislature should be, supporting small business and free enterprise. And this kind of animal rights legislation banning exotic animals in the state, and trying to put My Live Tiger exhibit out of business is contrary to that. It's contrary to what we want here in Louisiana. I have never lied about the tiger exhibit at the Tiger Truck Stop from the very beginning. It was an idea for the business to have as an attraction. And over 25 years of loving and caring for these animals, it's become much more than that to me now. I've never denied that the tiger exhibit is an attraction for the truck stop. That was the whole idea, and the animal rights organizations try to beat me over the head with that. I think it sounds good for them to say that Tony's being exploited, but these animals are on view not only for exploitation, but they're on view for education and enjoyment. I have exhibited these animals, like I said, for 25 years, and I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. I like Mike the Tiger. I like LSU. I'm an LSU sports fan. I support LSU, and they have just recently built a brand new, I believe, $3.5 million facility for Mike the Tiger there. I've been there on a number of occasions to visit him. It's absolutely wonderful, but for the Louisiana legislature to pick and choose which federally licensed exhibitor that they want to exempt from an exotic animal ban and which one they do not want to exempt, I think is discrimination. You can't pick and choose which exhibitor you want to exempt and which one you don't. One of the things that bothers me the most about this exotic animal ban legislation that's brought about all of the problems that I have been experiencing in the legal system is most people cannot afford to stand up and fight to save their animals, to keep their animals from being seized, from having to pack up their animals and move to another state that will let them keep them. And this is a real plight on exotic animal owners all over this country who are basically on the run, trying to continue loving and caring for these kinds of animals. And it's very convenient. I think it's very convenient for the state of Louisiana to ban private ownership of these animals in the state of Louisiana and still be able to, keep LSU, Mike the Tiger at LSU, to keep zoos that are accredited by the AZA in place, and allow the circus people to come in and have circuses in our stadiums and in our I think it's all too convenient for the state of Louisiana to ban private ownership of exotic animals here and then pick and choose which federally licensed exhibitor that they want to exempt and which one that they don't. I think that's a classic definition of discrimination. And as far as personal freedoms, I think it's all too convenient, to tell the circuses that we want you to come in and entertain Louisiana citizens with your animals, but we don't want you living here. We don't want these animals in our state. And it's this principle that banning exotic animal owners in the state, where we think it's wrong. There's nothing wrong with rules and regulations to protect the public from being injured by these animals. And there's nothing wrong with rules and regulations that protect the animals from being abused. But to ban them altogether and then say you want to allow the circuses to come in and animal acts to come in and entertain your citizens, it just doesn't make any sense to me. I think it's wrong.
So, you told me that, or what I wrote was a company owned by myself, Tiger Truck Stop, has owned tigers for 25 years. We've kept and maintained a federally approved roadside zoo. Several years ago, animal activists started trying to get my tigers. I need you to say that. Give me a little history about my company, wholly owned by myself.
I started Tiger Truck Stop in December of 1987, and I started Tiger Truck Stop in December of 1987, and I was raised in the truck stop business.
You're out of focus.
Okay.
All right, you're in focus.
Can you read that to me again there?
As you may know, a company wholly owned by myself, the Tiger Truck Stop, has owned tigers for 25 years. We have kept and maintained a federally approved roadside zoo. Several years ago, animal activists started trying to get my tigers. I liked what you were saying. So just a basic history.
I started Tiger Truck Stop in December of 1987. It was my first business. I had been raised in the truck stop business and service station business in Texas. And it was actually a family situation, a family idea to have tigers as a mascot. And so when I bought the location in 1987, I brought the tigers with me, and it just all really fell into place and was really wonderful that we happened to be in tiger country, and it's been a great experience. In 25 years of loving and caring for these animals, we had my first two cats, Toby and Rainbow, actually had 6 litters, and they were anywhere from 2 to 3 cubs at a time, usually 2. Out of the 6 litters, there were 13 cubs. 10 of those survived. And we never had any problems. We had, I don't know if you want me to go, we had 1 cat.
No, don't go into
Yeah.
horrible things that happen. But talk about I mean, how many places have successful, I mean, or do abused cats have litters?
Well, my first 2 cats, Toby and Rainbow, had 6 litters, 13 cubs. 10 of those survived. It's a record that we're very proud of. And of course, this was several years ago, and I believe at that time we had more cubs born at the Tiger Truck Stop than in any other zoo or sanctuary in the country. I don't think that's the case anymore, but at that time it was, and we're very proud of that. 2 of our cats went to the Zoo of Acadiana in Broussard, Louisiana. I traded other cubs with other breeders and circuses and traveling animal acts that I was able to verify that would take very good care of those cubs. There was one cub that was born and was the run of the litter, and for whatever reason the mother rejected the cub, and we had to pull the cub and try to save the cub's life. And I had a friend that was a LSU veterinarian student, and she helped me save the cub's life, and she named the cub Shania after Shania Twain. And when she graduated LSU, she took the cub and moved to Montana. And I think the cub has since expired. But
no, don't talk about that.
Yeah.
Don't talk about the death. But the cub was happy.
Yes.
So,
I think that I don't know if I say her name or.
No, don't say her name. I just want you to say, we made an effort to make sure the animals were well cared for in our care and when they went to other homes.
We always made sure that the cubs, when they were sold or given to someone, we always made sure that they would be very well taken care of. I think that the animal rights organizations got involved with trying to take the tiger away from me, and it wasn't originally a personal attack on me. I mean,
let's start because it's taken a long time to get a little bit of information out of that.
The animal rights organizations specifically targeted all.
I'll ask you to do something. Stop using because I have to cut all of those out.
Okay.
You can pause, just don't vocalize the
Okay, I'll try.
That'd be great.
The animal rights organization specifically targeted not just me, but all private exotic animals. Sorry.
That's all right. But
the animal rights organizations specifically targeted all private owners of exotic animals, not just me.
Hard to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
Don't worry about it then. It's all right.
The animal rights organizations have actually targeted all private owners of dangerous exotic animals in the state of Louisiana by passing this exotic animal ban legislation. I just happened to be the one that stood up and fought. Most of the exotic animal owners in the state of Louisiana either surrendered their animals, had them seized, or packed up and moved to another state that would allow them to keep their animals. I'm the only one that stood up and fought against this animal rights legislation. Unfortunately, when the government seizes an animal, most of the time the animals are dead within 2 months of being seized. Most of the animals that are seized by government agencies are dead within 2 months of being seized. Most of the animals, when they are seized by government agencies, are dead within 2 months of being seized. And it's very shocking and very sad that this happens.
All right.
Wildlife and fisheries, upon seizing an animal, I've already talked about that the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries has always had the job of protecting and managing indigenous wildlife in our state. And to have this legislation thrown on them where they have to manage and permit dangerous exotic animals in the state has caused bad things to happen. I don't know.
Okay. They don't have.
They don't have the experience. They don't understand the bond that can exist between these kinds of animals and their owners. Wildlife and Fisheries is used to dealing with alligators and deer and bears, and they're not used to dealing with tigers. Tigers are not indigenous to the state of Louisiana.
Or monkeys.
Or monkeys. Wildlife and Fisheries is not prepared and does not understand the bond that can be created between an animal owner and their animal, their pet. They're used to dealing with deer and alligators and bears and managing wildlife that's indigenous to the state. They're not used to coming in and dealing with private owners and their exotic animals. That has always been the federal government that has regulated these animals and not the state. So bad things happen. These animals are seized from their owners and usually die within 2 months of seizure because, you know, they grieve. They grieve the loss of the people that have loved and cared for them all of their lives. And they grieve themselves to death. And just the trauma of being drugged from the only home you've ever known, or the people that have loved and cared for you your whole life, the animals don't understand. You know, it's very traumatic, and all of this is very stressful. And you know, it's no secret that these kinds of animals are very sensitive to their environment and what they have gotten used to, the people that they're used to, and when they're just ripped away from their owners and taken and put in some sanctuary somewhere, usually in less desirable situations than where they came from, the animals end up dying. It's a real tragedy what is happening in our state today and what's happening across our country as I speak. I think that these animals are. I think that exotic animals are a lot more intelligent than what most people believe they are, and they are capable of you know, bonding with their owners. Tigers are dangerous. Big cats are dangerous. All big cats. Monkeys. And this legislation bans dangerous quadrupeds within the state of Louisiana. My problem with banning these animals is that there's nothing wrong with rules and regulations to protect the animals from being abused, and there's nothing wrong with the rules and regulations protecting the public at large from being injured by these animals. But to ban the animals altogether, that's not the answer. I've had a real smear campaign against me. These people have smeared and slandered me violently. These people have smeared me. The animal rights activists have done everything. The animal rights activists have thrown everything in the book at me. They've smeared me on the internet, in print, the animal rights activists have aggressively slandered me and speared me. I'm not getting anywhere with